Health Studios. This is KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. A man who is accused of killing 3 women in Wayne County has his first hearing in a Utah court today. 22-year-old Ivan Miller is accused of killing Margaret Oldroyd at her home in Lyman to steal her car. Prosecutors say Miller then went to a trailhead in Torrey and killed Linda Dewey and Natalie Graves, all so he could then take their car. Lieutenant Cameron Roden with Utah's Department of Public Safety says he did not know these women.
We don't believe he's targeted these for any specific reason other than just for convenience.
The hearing is happening later this morning, and the judge will formally lay out all the charges against Miller. He is facing life in prison. 1900 West in Roy is back open this morning after a deadly crash. Police say it happened last night and involved 3 different cars. The investigation closed the road for a few hours. 1 person died at the scene, and the cause is under investigation. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. 1 minor has been rescued from inside the cave in Laos, where several have been trapped for more than a week. ABC's Marcus Moore says the passageways in the cave are extremely narrow.
This is an extremely delicate operation. Each person will have to be brought to the surface one by one. 6 additional divers have arrived to help with this rescue mission, and we're told that they needed thinner divers to reach the area where all of this is unfolding. So it does give you a sense of the terrain and how difficult this mission is.
5 are confirmed to still be alive. Your money at this moment, the Dow is way up 332 points. We now just passed 51,000. Wow. We're at 51,008 on the Dow this morning. Coming up, a little bit cooler today than yesterday with rain on the way. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
Get ready for bigger action, faster rides, and edge-of-your-seat thrills. The Ute Stampede Rodeo and Extreme Bulls returning to Utah, July 8th through 11th. See elite athletes compete in PRCA rodeo showmanship with some of sport's biggest payouts. Buckle up for Extreme Bulls, delivering Utah's ultimate showdown. New dates, bigger crowds, limited tickets. Don't miss it. Secure yours now at UtestampedeRodeo.com. That's UtestampedeRodeo.com.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Bad driving habits are hard to break, but good driving habits are easy to form, especially when they can lead to a discount on your auto insurance. With Farm Bureau Financial Services, the safer you drive, the more you save. Drivers like you are saving an average of $351 per vehicle. So buckle up, learn more, and find an agent at fbfs.com/save. Individual savings results may vary. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
Roadways looking really good for your Friday morning commute. No delays on I-15 between Ogden and Provo, but we do have a crash, and this is at the off-ramp from southbound I-15 at 1400 North in Springville. Looks like they're blocking a right shoulder there and causing just a little bit of congestion as you get off the freeway. The other crash we have, that's in the city streets in Davis County in West Point. And looks like, so this is at the intersection of 2000 West and 300 North. Your delays are eastbound on 300 North as you approach 2000 West, so do be careful as you get through that intersection as crews work to clean that out of the road. UDOT construction alert. Expect I-80 to be reduced to one lane near the mouth of Parley's Canyon and between Mountain Dell Reservoir and Lambs Canyon every night this summer for paving. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be mostly sunny. We have a slight chance of rain tonight. Today's high 78. Rain, we have a good chance of it overnight and into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's high only 70. Right now it's 68 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
A federal judge this morning has temporarily blocked payouts from the administration's anti-weaponization fund, the $1.776 billion fund. He even went so far as to bar the government from moving ahead with the creation of the fund.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that more at the 10 o'clock hour. But right now, the man accused of killing 3 women in Wayne County, this was back in March, if you'll recall, March 4th of this year, has a court appearance this morning at 9 o'clock. It's his first appearance. He fled to Colorado immediately after the alleged homicides. There were 3 women that were killed in that area, and he's making his first appearance today. It took some time for him to get back to the state of Utah.
Yeah, Ivan Miller had been fighting extradition from Colorado to Utah, but he's here now. There's lots of complexities in this case, so Greg, who better to help us understand than you, our KSL legal analyst?
Yeah, so it's an interesting case, and I have property in Wayne County. I'm not going to be involved in the case at all, although I've had a little bit tangential involvement. But I'm only speaking here as a representative of KSL. So he has been charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, which means that the county attorney could, if he decides, make these death penalty cases. They're certainly death penalty eligible right now. Under Utah law, the prosecuting attorney does not need to make the election as to whether they're going to seek the death penalty or not until 30 days after the preliminary hearing or at the time of the arraignment. So once
is that even today? Is that what's happening today?
No. Today's just a first appearance. Okay. They haven't even scheduled a preliminary hearing. In fact, on the Tyler Robinson case, they haven't even had a preliminary hearing yet.
Oh gosh. Although it could be months.
Yeah, it could be some time. So there's 3 counts of aggravated murder. There was one count that involved a woman in her home who was who was shot allegedly in the back of the head. Her car was then taken. The accused, and his name is Ivan Miller, he's presumed innocent, then took that car and found another car, a little Subaru that apparently he liked better, who knows, and killed the 2 women that were operating that car. They were out hiking in that area up on Highway 12, which goes sort of south out of the Torrey area. Anyway, they were killed. And then he fled. It looks like from the probable cause statement, he went into New Mexico for a while. He was driving around. You know, people just don't realize how easy it is to track someone if they have a cell phone or they use a credit card.
So I think in this one, and so I've looked at the documents that they're being used today. Are they the charging documents?
Yes, the information, right.
So they said one of the ways they tracked him was the second car that he stole, the key ring had a fob on it that had a tracker in it. And so the husband of one of the murder victims was able to open that up on his phone and show police where the car was because it was able to track it like that.
Yeah, ironically, I think that tracker's in case you lose your key, so you can find it. But I thought it would like help you find it around the house. I didn't realize it would help you find it 3 states away.
If it's stolen, I guess it'll tell you where it is.
That's really interesting. Yeah, there's so many ways that people can be tracked, and you don't think. I mean, course, criminals who commit crimes like this don't think of anything when you realize how easy it is to track them down.
So one of the things that struck me is that in the police statements here, he appears to have confessed when the police found him in Colorado. How does that impact the case?
Well, if it's true that he did confess, and it is a valid confession after he was given his right to not confess, which we call the Miranda rights, and that could be used against him. And I would just say this, having been a prosecutor for 8 years, in my opinion, and I used to teach police all the time about getting confessions, it's the strongest piece of evidence you can have. It's better than DNA. It's better than eyewitness. It's better than fingerprints. A confession is one of the most powerful things a prosecutor can have, because not only does it establish the crime, but it establishes that most important mens rea, the mental state. You know what I mean? Other than just that your DNA was there.
Right.
So you say, I did it and I wanted to do it, or this was what my intention was. This is what I was doing. So if it's admissible, and I don't know that it is, then it would be pretty compelling evidence against him.
Wow. So this case, he's crossed state lines. He was arrested in Colorado. It took a while for him to get back here to Utah. So how is he being charged? Is this going to be just a Wayne County case? Is the state involved? Could other entities be involved? What does this look like?
So it's a state case prosecuted by Wayne County.
Okay.
So the first two questions are both yes, but that's one and the same.
Okay.
It's the state of Utah versus Ivan Miller. It's being prosecuted by the Wayne County Attorney's Office because they have sort of jurisdiction and venue.
Okay.
In other words, it's in their town. People have asked, is this a federal case too? It could be. The federal government hasn't indicted him yet. I don't know that they will or not. But the fact that he took the car over state lines doesn't necessarily make it a federal case. Under federal law, a carjacking, which is allegedly what happened with the two women, their car was stolen from them in their presence, and by force or fear while they were, because the first crime he stole the woman's car too, but it was unrelated to the murder. I mean, he didn't take it from her by force. He shot her and then went and stole her car.
Right.
I know it's kind of a weird nuance, but carjacking means you literally take a car from the presence of a person by their own. So anyway, my point is the federal government has jurisdiction over carjackings because cars are transported in interstate commerce. You don't buy a car that was made. Every piece of it was made in the same state you live.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true. Okay.
So if the federal government wanted to take it, I'm just surmising, they could file federally under that, and the federal government could pursue this as a death penalty also.
So I thought that there were other ways that the federal government could be involved with murder. So, for example, when Charlie Kirk was killed, I thought that the federal government could have taken that case. They haven't. They didn't. But what's the difference here?
No difference. So
okay.
That's a great question.
It wasn't a car case.
No. But the federal government they have to look at each case individually.
Okay.
So if they wanted to file on the Tyler Robinson case, the man who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk, they could look at that and say, okay, what's our federal connection? There has to be a federal connection. And in that case, they could say, well, he was stalking him. He was using his phone, his interstate commerce device. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, he was.
Right, and to do that, of course, that Mangione case, the guy that allegedly shot the insurance company executive, was charged federally under stalking, and the judge said that ain't flying. So that might the state of New York still charging him, and is still very serious with the murder, but without getting into the weeds too much, that might sort of make and frankly, and I say this with if it's a death penalty case. I hate to say you can only kill a person once, but I mean, you think about the fact that, you don't really need to pursue those twice. Sometimes you do it just to make sure that it's done correctly and it's done, effectively. And if one jurisdiction happens to lose an appeal, the other one still got their case. So it's not uncommon that you'd have both prosecuted, but the feds may feel on both of those cases, Tyler Robinson and this Ivan Miller, that the state has a good enough case and a compelling enough case that there's no reason to bring it federally.
Okay.
Well, anyway, enough of that. Coming up on Inside Sources, we're going to go in depth on the Box Elder County Attorney's Office decision that a referendum on the data center cannot go to the ballot. Some people have filed a petition saying we want this on the ballot. Proponents say they're going to take that to court. We'll talk more about that, more legalese for you, Holly, when we come back.
But first, we do want to remind you of our special Give-a-thon next Thursday. Join KSL News Radio as we work to help the kids and families who rely on Primary Children's Hospital for help, hope, and healing. You can donate today by visiting kslkids.com or by texting the word SMILE to 57500. You can be a smile maker for as little as $15 a month. Our thanks to J&J Garden Center for being our Smile Maker sponsor.
Hey Utah, have you heard? Nuclear energy might be coming to our state. Now, before your brain jumps straight into sci-fi movies, let's talk about what nuclear actually does. Nuclear technology helps power our nation's submarines, supports life-saving cancer treatments, and produces reliable electricity for millions of homes. That said, nuclear power also comes with some common misconceptions. Don't worry, we get it. Here's a fun fact. You're exposed to more radiation eating bananas than you are living near a nuclear power plant. And get this, a lifetime supply of nuclear energy fits into a single soda can. Despite what some people believe, nuclear energy is safe, clean, and incredibly efficient. But don't just take my word for it. Energy decisions matter, and Utahns deserve the facts. Learn more about nuclear and what it can mean for you. Visit energy.utah.gov/nuclear.
There's no doubt about it. It's always a great time to shop at NPS, which truly is a nice place to save with their 4 locations, 1 in Orem, we've got 1 in Layton, and 2 in Salt Lake. Anytime you'll save 20 to 70% at NPS. But right now, it's time to get into NPS because Father's Day is just around the corner. The summer months are here. It's time to get those power tools, buy a fire pit, great men's clothing. How about some golf clubs and other sports equipment, things that are fun for the summertime for the kids, even things for your lawn and garden. And then, of course, groceries, great prices, and that's very important right now. Terrific prices on groceries. And then when you're shopping the store, above and beyond the 20 to 70% off, you'll find additional savings. It's time for you to go in and shop for dear old Dad at NPS.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications that top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Power your drive with Mobil 1 Motor Oil. Buy 5 quarts, get $15 back, and score a fast and furious prize after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
911, coming exactly what happened.
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
And I said, Josh, where are you? You need to get home.
And her husband will never be held accountable.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
and you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
I'm Dave Cawley, host of the podcast Cold.
Then he starts making phone calls to Susan's phone.
Hello, Susan. We are on our way back.
It's the deepest of deep dives into this tragic tale of abuse.
Where was Josh when Susan disappeared?
I don't know. Of one mother's desperate attempt to escape.
This is me, covering all my bases.
Help prevent it from happening again.
Our focus has and continues to be finding Susan.
Listen and learn by following Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
We're learning this morning that the application to get a referendum on the ballot in Box Elder County over the proposed data center has been rejected and will not be on the ballot in November, at least as it stands now.
Although the process to stop this data center is not over, so the group that has been leading the charge against the proposal says they're going to take this to court. The county attorney denied the referenda applications. There were 3, I think, at least 2, saying that the county commission's decision was administrative and not legislative, and so it didn't need to go in front of the people.
What's that song? You say data and I say data.
I know. Tomato, tomato.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, the group disagrees with this, saying that a 2018 Utah Supreme Court decision proves that it actually is legislative, and given that it's legislative and not administrative, people should have a say. In other words, they're going to claim that it should be on the ballot, and they're going to take it to court.
Well, I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if I was surprised or not. I guess I was surprised, actually, that the county attorney's office said, no, we're not going to put that on the ballot in the fall. And then to say, well, it was administrative. This was an administrative motion by the county commission to give out these approvals, right? Which seems, to me, it just seems different.
Okay, so yeah, let me just explain what I understand about that, and then we'll talk about the Supreme Court case from 2018 because I pulled it up. The county commissions make decisions all the time.
Sure.
And largely they are administrative in nature. To the extent that they become legislative, and I'll explain the difference, it can be challenged by the citizens.
Right.
They can take it to the ballot and say, you know what, we don't like this, and put it on the ballot. Administrative decisions would be things like granting a business license. Somebody's coming into the community and they want to set up an auto shop. The county commission could do that. The citizens don't really challenge that. They wouldn't even have a right to necessarily because it's administrative. It's just something they do. Or the county commission decides that they're going to, have some street lights changed or something like that. They do a lot of things.
Sure.
But if they do something that's major, that affects something like the tax base or property rights or things like that, the citizens have a right to challenge it. And so the case maybe this will be a better example, the actual case that they're relying on here. So let me back up a little bit. A group of citizens filed a petition against the county and said, you cannot do this without at least putting it on the ballot. Let's let the citizens decide. Not necessarily should we stop it, but at least let the citizens weigh in.
Right.
And the county attorney said, you don't get to weigh in on everything we do, only if it's legislative. And this was not legislative, it was administrative. That's the legal question, and it gets a little bit into the weeds. So there was a case that might help us a little bit. It was a Supreme Court case in 2018 that involved, of all things, the Cottonwood Mall, which I think a lot of people can remember. So the Cottonwood Mall gets torn down. There's a big plot of land there. The city of Holiday is like, what are we going to do with this? And so the Holiday City Council says, okay, we're going to have this particular developer go, and it happened to be Ivory Homes. We're going to have him develop it and set it up and everything else. Citizens jumped in and said, well, you can't just do that administratively. That's a legislative action. That affects our tax base. That affects the property rights. That has a lot of consequences. And the city said, we can do anything we want. We're the city. We're doing the right thing. The Supreme Court said that case involved a legislative decision, and as such, the citizens have the right, if they choose, to have that on the ballot. So that was a case where we looked at a decision by a city council.
Sure.
What are we going to do with the old Cottonwood Mall property? And they said, because you gave it to a developer, because it's a big change, it's going to change our whole tax base, I should say. Now we got data and data. So our whole tax base, that's something we need to let the citizens weigh in on if they choose to.
So why then would the county attorney, because this seems so closely aligned with what's happening up in Box Elder, why would the county attorney then say, okay, well, somehow that decision in that case wouldn't apply in this case?
That's a good question, and it's something that will be challenged, certainly. I mean, different attorneys have different definitions of what the law says and what it means, but the county attorney, and this is a bright county attorney, there's county Box Elder has a really good county attorney's office. He weighed in and said, you know what, I don't think this is something that affects public health, safety, welfare, and taxation.
I don't even know how he can say that with a straight face.
I understand. I
what
mean,
you're
come
saying.
on. Right. It looks like it's not as easy maybe as he thought. But again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And so what that does, Holly, is it invites not an appeal. They're calling it appeal in the article here. It invites the citizens to now take the matter to court.
Yeah.
You can't just file a lawsuit against everything that the county commission does. You have to run it up the chain first and say, hey, they filed a petition with the county and said, hey, you did
now
this wrong.
Now there's something actionable.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're so smart. So anyway, they go. So they say we're denying this. Now they can file a court action, and they file it in the first district court, which is what Box Elder, Cache. There's 3 counties up there. I forget what doesn't matter. Rich,
Daggett.
Maybe. Yeah. No, that's
in
the 8th district.
Tiny.
Yeah, little county up there. Anyway, I think it's Rich. But so they can now file a lawsuit in the county courthouse there, in the district court, the state court probably. The first district, it would be the Box Elder County Court. And a judge there can weigh in, and he or she will make the same analysis that the county attorney did and say, this was legislative, therefore you got to put it on the ballot if that's what the citizens want, or it's administrative, go ahead and do it. And then there will certainly be an appeal if that occurs. Maybe either way. But it's going to be another case that may end up at the Supreme Court, just like the Cottonwood Mall case did.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And it wasn't even to put it on the ballot. It was to begin the process to gather signatures.
Right.
And so then it would presume that you have to get enough signatures, and then that could go on the ballot. So it's so interesting. There's some other stuff, too, with that is happening. Like, it just keeps going. So one of the groups, there is more than one group associated with the opposition to this, but one of them is called the Box Elder Accountability Referendum, and they go by the acronym BEAR. And one of the people with that group said this whole thing has just been about games. I'm not surprised, right? But the sides now, I think, are just at loggerheads because the Box Elder County Commission is no longer doing public meetings, and they're not making press statements. And Gosh, I thought it was really interesting, though, that the group behind it, Stratos, whatever their official organization is, they pulled their second application for water rights. They pulled it after 700 official complaints.
Yeah, and they pulled the first one after 5,000
I know.
alleged complaints. Who knows what's going on there? And I mean, why they would do that a second time, you would think they would have figured out what they're doing and make sure that they did it right, but they pulled it again. I would also say this. If you recall what the county commission said about the whole project, they said, look, we didn't approve anything. We're just we're going to let the developers, put together a plan and whatnot. So I think the county is going to say, we haven't really approved it yet. We're just letting it move down the tracks. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit.
Are you splitting hairs?
Yeah. That's what we do as attorneys really well. Maybe not today, but I guess I'm just trying to think of why the Box Elder County Commission, the Box Elder County Attorney think that this is not something that's challengeable in court. It's a tough case. A judge is going to decide, not me.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's interesting, and there's just been so much opposition, and some of it is absolutely in opposition to the data center and its impacts. Some of it is, I think, opposition to the speed with which this has been, basically pushed forward. I think the public has only known about it. What is it? 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks,
maybe
at the
4
most,
weeks.
right? So with that speed, and I saw a news report this morning saying, look, there are no environmental studies on the impacts of this data center. And they said, I can't remember which news organization, I'm sorry, but they had put forward a GRAMA request saying we want the environmental impact studies. And the response was, we don't have any documents responsive to your request.
Yeah.
Which basically to me
we
says,
didn't do one, right?
Well, right. That's
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what we're assuming maybe, but
you would assume if you're taking over 40,000 acres of private and public land and building, 60 structures on it, there would be some level of environmental concern.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're creating a power plant larger than any
Right.
city in the United States except New York.
That's wild. Okay, so One of the biggest complaints, and we know this, right? So we've got, people who are just opposed, people who are opposed with the speed, and other people, and maybe they all overlap, but they're opposed to the lack of transparency, especially by the MIDA board, the Military Installation Development, I think, whatever the A is. They've been pushing the proposal. So the state auditor, she has weighed in and she has created a website. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story, one person is dead and a family is out of a home after a house fire in Ogden. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The call came in just after midnight, and when crews arrived, they found neighbors trying to evacuate the family from the home on the 600 block of 3rd Street.
Crews immediately went to work, initiated a aggressive search and also a rapid interior fire attack to help suppress the flames.
Ogden City Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Hess says one person was missing. Crews found them inside the home, and they died of their injuries at the scene. 4 other family members were taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening smoke-related injuries. The American Red Cross was notified and is working to help the family at this time. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Former Attorney General Pam Bondi is back on Capitol Hill this morning. She will testify behind closed doors to the House Oversight Committee on her role in uncovering the Jeffrey Epstein files during her tenure as Attorney General. Chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, spoke to reporters before the hearing got underway.
What we're trying to do is just connect all the dots and see if there is a way to hold people accountable. Remember, many of these crimes happened 20 plus years ago. We're going to do everything in our ability to hold people accountable.
Bondi has faced intense criticism from many survivors of Epstein for her handling of the files, and many of them appeared outside of the hearing this morning. Your money at this moment. The Dow is up 360. We are at 51,028 at this hour. Coming up, we'll get a look at the weather forecast. Rain on the way this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Serenity now! Serenity now!
Are you okay?
Okay. Gas is up. Groceries are up. Everything up, up, up.
Not at Strong Volkswagen.
Strong Volkswagen.
Yeah, purchase any vehicle with a dime. One dime down.
What is the deal with dimes?
One dime down. Plus, oil changes at just $59.95 at Strong Volkswagen.
Just $59.95?
Or lease a new 2026 Jetta S. Just $235 a month. $235.
Fun fact, new Jetta get up to 42 mpg.
Even new all-wheel drive Atlas. Just $432 a month. $432.
And you get a lifetime warranty. Lifetime.
But my own mother won't loan me money.
You're not getting the money! It's okay. If you got a job and a dime, you ride, mister.
This is great. I'm back, baby, during Volkswagen Driver Days.
At Strong Volkswagen. For over 70 years, Strong Volkswagen.
Located downtown.
StrongVW.com.
StrongVW.com.
For details, call 801-596-2200.
This is Nate Orchard from Advanced Window Products. When you live in Utah, your windows do a lot more than let the light in. They protect your home from freezing winters, blazing summers, and everything in between. That's why Advanced Window Products builds every window for your local climate. No middleman, no out-of-state delays, just factory direct quality, custom made for your home. Imagine a quieter home, a warmer home, a cooler home. Our high-efficiency vinyl windows are engineered to lower your energy bills and boost your comfort all year round. And installation is done by our own certified in-house crews, never subcontractors. That's why Utah homeowners give us 5-star reviews. Right now, take advantage of our anniversary sale. For a limited time, get $2,500 off when you buy 10 or more windows. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. For 40 years, Advanced Window Products has been the name Utah trusts for custom replacement windows and sliding glass doors. Advanced Window Products, built here, installed here, trusted here. Call 801-850-9100 for that $2,500 off, or visit us at advancedwindows.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
In the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now it's the final days of our Everything's on Sale event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses. Our Memorial Day event ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Receive 4% cash back on cruises at uccu.com. And here's Cormac Bone.
No delays on I-15 through Weber, Davis, and Salt Lake counties, but in Utah County, we have a little bit of slowdowns on northbound I-15 approaching 800 North, and that's due to a crash. And they are now out of traffic and in the right shoulder, but they were blocking a couple right lanes, and so those delays built up. So we're just seeing those residual slowdowns start to work their way out on northbound I-15 in Orem. Otherwise, it's normal delays to expect in Lehigh, eastbound on 2100 North due to that construction. It's scattered from Redwood Road all the way over to I-15. And on Bangerter Highway, still seeing some light delays northbound, scattered from 4100 South all the way up to the 201 freeway. Clients are saying dental implants are worth it. Stubbs Dental completely changed my life. Stubbs Dental doesn't just fix teeth, they change lives. Visit StubbsDental.com to get started today. That's StubbsDental.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today with a high of 78 degrees. We do have a slight chance of rain tonight, a good chance of rain overnight into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's high only 70. We're back in the 80s next week. Right now, sunshine and 70 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So as the process to build this big data center in Box Elder County, I don't even know if it's moving ahead, but it's staying in the public eye. One of the biggest complaints is that the process has not been transparent.
Yeah, and a lot of people have placed the blame for that on MIDA, which is the Military Installation Development Authority. And the interesting thing about MIDA is it's made up of elected officials, but they're not elected for this particular position. They just happen to be elected officials, and because it's not made up of people who are elected to serve on this commission, it's not subject to the same open meetings laws, grandma requests, public access to the information and what they do.
So the state auditor, which is Tina Cannon, she's created a new website to help people learn more about MIDA, how they came about, who they are, what they do. As part of her office, they also run transparent.utah.gov. I think it's transparentutah.gov, just to get all that information out there in the public eye. And so they do have this new website now that's up under the umbrella of Transparent Utah, and the MIDA public timeline. It actually began in 2007, which I didn't even realize it had been around for that long.
Yeah, so good for the auditor's office just to say,
look. It began in the early 90s, my bad.
Right, yeah. So look, they're just trying to make it clear that, hey, let's get as much information out as possible, because people have felt, Holly, that this was something that was really had gone so far along before the public was ever invited to participate that it was almost a done deal. Mm-hmm. And I think the developers felt that they'd stayed under the radar long enough that it was just going to sail through. Now that it hasn't, it's come back to bite them a little bit, because I think had there been more transparency, we may be even further down the road than we are, instead of the opposite, that we got pretty far and now we're almost at complete standstill. But yeah, State Auditor Tina Cannon did indicate that she's put up a website that focuses on what this Utah's Military Installation Development Authority is all about.
So I thought it was interesting. I thought its history was interesting. It began, I remember these discussions actually only because I had military family, but BRAC, do you remember BRAC? It's the Base Realignment and Closure Process. So they actually closed the Tooele Army Depot in 1993, and then there was Hill Air Force Base was allegedly on the chopping block in the mid-90s. So this created the precursor to MIDA, and this was put together than in the mid 90s. So a lot of stuff didn't happen until a lot more recently, right? And when it really started to get involved with some military stuff.
Yeah, and so the state auditor was going, hey, wait a minute, we're just getting calls all over. She said her phones were getting blown up from people seeking public answers to what's going on. And she said this, until the Box Elder Project, I don't know that most people were aware of the authority. She talked about MIDA.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not a new entity. We're trying to make the public aware of what we already knew is the goal here. I think you mentioned that a little bit. But I mean, I think that the whole idea of transparency, and it seems that what the auditor's office is doing is entirely objective and saying, look, we're just giving you information here. We're not saying it's good or bad, but in case people want to know about MIDA, what it is, what it's about, here's the history.
Here's who's on it.
Take what you want from that.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the other things, this is totally not technically related to the data center, but there was an earthquake up there close to the data center site yesterday. It was little. It was a 3.1, little-ish, and it was about 2.5 miles from the proposed hyperscale data center campus, which I don't know. Is that an act of God saying, hello, maybe don't build here? I don't know. Maybe it's saying do build here.
Well, so yeah, if you have an earthquake at something like that, then you have to ask yourself, what if it's all built? What do we have this all in process? So we're getting all this information. We're getting all these energy sites, potentially nuclear sites, and there's an earthquake. Whoa, you know what I mean? It could be a real problem.
I know. We do have some breaking news about the data center. So barely just into the KSL newsroom, Governor Cox has signed an executive order that will create higher standards for data center development in the state.
Yeah, so the executive order creates a data center framework which directs state agencies to prioritize protection of water resources, and I'm reading the governor's executive order, including the Great Salt Lake, safeguard utility ratepayers, protect the air quality, mitigate wildlife impacts, support transparent public engagement, and ensure future development aligns with Utah's long-term interests.
And we were just talking about the transparency and the speed, and I think something like this probably, like I'm glad it's out now, probably would have really helped solve a lot of these issues if this had been in place before the Box Elder County one was out there. So again, breaking news just now, the governor has signed an executive order raising the bar for these kind of data center projects to make sure, I think in a lot of ways, first of all, the Great Salt Lake and other water resources are protected, and that the water consumption is not going to be greater than what is already in the area, I guess. Protecting, as you already said, utility ratepayers from bearing the cost of infrastructure, because we've seen that in other places around the nation. Also protecting air quality and minimizing impacts. Another thing we've seen around the nation, in fact, I just saw an article about data centers in Virginia, that the air quality has become really, really bad for them because of the emissions from the data center that's close by. And then providing transparent, meaningful, and thorough opportunities for public comment.
So I think what the governor can do by something like this, Holly, is say, look, we're not against data centers, but if you're going to do something that affects the water that's going to end up in the Great Salt Lake by building a data center or something like that, now you got me saying data, but by building something like that, maybe we should have you run through some hoops a little bit.
Not maybe. I mean, I think it makes it clear, right? That we're going to expect that these things moving forward, that we're going to have these kind of things. So I don't know how quickly this Box Elder one will continue to move forward. I personally think the brakes have kind of been put on. We've seen that even evaluating the air quality impacts, they expect that research to take at least a year before they can even be able to come out with a report to say, here's what we anticipate the air quality impacts will be.
Yeah, so this is an executive order signed by the governor, and it is effective immediately. In other words, it's now the rule. It's interesting. It's Executive Order 2026-03, which means it's the third one he's issued in 2026, which is significantly less than what the president has issued in 20. I'm just thinking executive orders should be
Use judiciously. Is that what you're saying?
2603.
Oh,
what
gosh,
are we in
okay.
May? We're not even 1 month.
We're at the end of May.
Good for you,
We're the
Governor
end of
Cox.
May.
Right.
Well, coming up next on Inside Sources, today is 5/29 or May 29th. We're going to have a discussion on the 529 plans, which help families plan for their children's educational expenses.
But first, don't forget to tune in to KSL News Radio all day next Thursday for Give-a-thon 2026. You can help make a difference for kids at Primary Children's Hospital. Donate now at kslkids.com or text SMILE, S-M-I-L-E, to 57500. A special thanks to Utah Hyundai Dealers, a generous sponsor of this year's Give-a-thon.
Some things in life just aren't easy, like assembling furniture with so-called simple instructions, resetting a password again, parallel parking with people watching, and shopping for insurance. Until now. Introducing Trucordia Go, the smarter, faster, easier way to shop for home and auto insurance. Trucordia Go starts with a conversation powered by smart technology and guided by Trudy, your helpful virtual insurance assistant, learning about your needs and helping you find the right insurance solutions that fit your life while working hard to save you time and money. And it goes beyond quotes for real understanding. Trudy gives you easy to understand answers to complex questions and can even connect you with a real person anytime you want extra guidance. Trucordia Go is simply a better way to shop for insurance. Less confusion, more confident decisions, and chatting with Trudy even makes it a little more fun. Smarter, faster, easier insurance, so you can get back to the things in life you actually enjoy. Visit TrucordiaGo.com today. Trucordia Go. Let's go.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
1 in 5 Utah kids face hunger. And the summer months make things even more challenging because families can no longer rely on school meals to help them get by. These days, the situation is more dramatic than ever. That's why Utah Food Bank is again holding its annual Summer Business Food and Fund Drive, encouraging organizations of all sizes to gather food for donations for families. Beginning in early June and running through the end of August, the Summer Business Food and Fund Drive is your chance to make a difference for families seeking emergency food requests to help stretch their budgets. Rally your coworkers, friends, or a community group of any size to make a collection. Every dollar earned turns into more than $7 in the form of goods and services to help those in need. What are you waiting for? Organize your Summer Business Food and Fund Drive today. To find out more or to get ideas for your own DIY fundraiser, visit utahfoodbank.org.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on oil?
We've got many markdowns on oil.
How about on that new STP Any Mileage?
You'll save $5 when you buy 5 quarts of STP Any Mileage with an oil filter and get up to 5,000 miles of protection.
Heck of a markdown for quite a lot of miles.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Every summer, the wild teenage boy hunts for gas money and pizza.
Dad, stop.
Without the right financial tools, he faces a harsh summer.
It's not funny.
With a Learn and Earn account from Cyprus Credit Union, he can build money skills and earn up to $200 to survive the hunt.
Fine, let's open an account.
Crikey, a rare moment of maturity.
Mom!
Cyprus Credit Union.
Learn more at cypruscu.com. Insured by the NCUA.
If you've got a honey-do list with electrical, plumbing, heating, or air conditioning projects on it, Any Hour Services can help. Call Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. anyhourservices.com.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
Really ugly clouds coming over from the north.
a place
The ridgeline is imposing, the escarpments, the drops.
where survival
It's dark now. I have nothing.
is never certain.
This is not good.
My name's Dave Cawley, and I'm the host of a podcast called Uinta Triangle. It's about the disappearance of an Australian hiker named Eric.
Our conclusion and that of the sheriff is that the mountains have decided to keep him.
Come retrace Eric's footprints with me.
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard.
Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
He is not the first or last person to vanish in this remote region.
It was haunting to see the photos. I mean, really.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle. That's Uinta, spelled U-I-N-T-A, Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts. All episodes out now.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. Be the someone who gives their time. Be the someone who lends an ear. Be the someone who takes a step. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN, asking you to join the fight against sexual violence and volunteer in your community. Log on to RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org, to learn how you can be the someone.
This message brought to you by the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network and this station.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Parents listening to the show today, are you planning and saving for your children's educational futures?
And if you're not alone. In fact, new research shows 59% of adults, 5'9", say they're not saving enough for educational expenses, and many have no idea where to start.
Well, today is May 29th, so that's 529. So we're looking closer at what we call the 529 plans and how you can save for your children's education future. I think it's, and we're going to learn more from our guest who is on the line with this, but to me, this seems like some way that you can set aside money tax deferred and maybe use it for education.
So Utah has a website. It's my529.org. It's so my529.org to help families save for education. And they've been around for 30 years, but like a lot of people, I think the majority, right, we just don't know about them. So we have with us on the line Andy Esser, financial advisor with Edward Jones. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Holly. Hi, Greg. Great to join you.
Thank you. So I wanted to just ask if you can just first of all tell us about these 529 plans, because I think a lot of people are not aware of what they are.
You alluded to it earlier. They've been around for 30 years, and they were mainly synonymous with college savings goals. And that was really important as college costs were typically outpacing general inflation costs. But what we've seen just in the past couple of years is an expansion for how those 529 plans can be used. They can be used for things like community college or even K through 12. So they're more powerful than ever. But with those enhancements, it's actually caused a little bit of confusion, to the point now that we just did a survey of 2,100 adults across the country, and we found that only about a third of the people knew exactly what the primary purpose of a 529 college savings plan or education savings plan was. And the main point of it is to grow funds tax advantage for education goals. So anything we can do to close that familiarity gap and that advice gap hopefully should restore a little bit of the confidence gap that people have to use them.
Okay, so time out. You said, because I've always assumed the 529 plan was for college. Did you say that you can use it for expenses for K-12?
It's a really good call out. And traditionally, that's where most people had lumped 529s, thinking it's for saving for college. And it remains the most popular route to use 529 funds. But as a result of an act that came out from Congress a couple of years ago called the Secure Act, it's expanded that definition of what a qualified educational expense is. So that now it can account for and be used for things like secondary school. It can be used for trade schools or online programs. I mean, now even beneficiaries have the chance to use surplus funds that might be left in that 529 and roll that over to a Roth IRA to help jumpstart a kid's retirement savings and get them on the board for what's already continuing to grow with inflation.
Wow.
But the important thing is, It takes parents, grandparents, families to all work together to put funds into that plan so that we can start to get some tax advantage growth.
So tell us then, how does that work? They have to open a special account somewhere?
Yeah, as soon as a baby has boots on the ground and they've got a social security number, a 529 plan can be opened in their name for those qualified education expenses. And the advantage with 529s, in addition to the tax advantages, it's a really flexible way to put even just a little bit to get things started. So I was talking with somebody earlier, just a couple of dollars a month, but that can grow. It could be a small contribution or a not so small contribution to help get that tax advantage savings such that they're tax deferred when they're in their account and they come out tax-free for college. Problem is, because of these expanded roles, there's a good bit of confusion and a misapprehension of how important they are, or if funds are left over, how that can stack for a family's benefit.
Andy, are there limits to how much a parent can contribute to the plan over the year? And if so, does that also limit what grandma and grandpa or whoever else wants to contribute to the plan can put in?
Yeah, sometimes limits do apply, and that varies by state. And what I recommend usually is that we work in coordination with a tax planner or a tax advisor to help understand where those limits are. But to your point, the limits are higher than a lot of people think. In fact, grandparents, if they're looking to do maybe a little bit of legacy planning or educational scholarship opportunities for their grandkids, they can make 5 years worth of annual gifts towards a kid's 529 plan. The annual gift exclusion limit right now is $19,000. So you're looking at a pair of grandparents together who might be able to channel as much as $190,000 in 1 year to a kid's 529 plan. Now that's subject to a lot of coordination, but the limits are a lot higher than a lot of people think.
Wow. So how do parents who, especially if they're young parents and they want to start this plan when they have a baby, how do you balance that kind of forward-looking savings with your everyday expenses, just trying to get food on the table?
Well, if they are feeling like they're just getting started, they're in good company. I right now have a 2-year-old. I'm the father of 4. I've got kids who range from 13 down to 2. And as an advisor, I know that a lot of families are finding trouble in trying to balance where they need to spend savings now, or at least their money now, to help keep their family going, to also balancing against where those education costs are going. What I usually recommend is actually working with an advisor. When I work with my clients, for example, we recognize that education savings is one of the top 3 priorities that most families have. It's only behind retirement savings and home ownership opportunity costs. But to try to find that balance and craft it so it's tailor-made for that family, for their income, for their prospective expenses. And no 2 approaches are going to be the same. But I think of like my colleagues who are in Utah. I've got 140 colleagues of mine. We serve 62,000 families in Utah alone. So if they're looking for good advice on how to start making that balance in their budget, you can do a lot worse than going to an advisor to help get that guidance.
Yeah, and so that's a good point you make, that it's sort of tailor-made to each individual. But would it be common in your practice and others that you work with to have parents makes like a monthly contribution? Let's say it's $20 a month or something like that. Is that you? And I'm just throwing a random number out, but is that usually what you would recommend, as sort of a regular monthly contribution?
Yeah, monthly contributions, just building it into the monthly budget, helps to make those big education savings goals, gives it a more bite-sized approach. So it's something that eventually becomes disciplined, regular, automatic, and just good habits. But the problem is most families are fighting that inertia. It's a lot harder to start saving if you haven't already started saving. But just a little bit can go a long way, and then looking opportunities throughout the years to potentially grow those savings. That's why usually I have annual reviews with families, and this is why on May 29th, it's a good opportunity to just take that once a year check to figure out if what we're doing for education savings is enough to close the gap between where costs are going to be and our financial preparedness for those costs.
So let me ask another question. I may be getting in the weeds here, but I'm an attorney, so I'm entitled. If let's say mom and dad put in some money and it's up to like $10,000, Junior then decides, I ain't going to college. What happens to the money? Does the parents take it back and now it's taxed or something?
Well, this gets into a really interesting nuance between individually held 529s and custodially held 529s.
Okay.
Most times individual parents may want to put money in an individual 529 where I think it varies a little bit depending on the nuance, but individuals are usually the asset of the parent, not the child. So if the parent has another kid or has a niece or nephew that they want to benefit from that account, they have that latitude to be able to do that. This is why it's important to work with somebody who can help break down some of the misconceptions. One of the other things we found in our report is that families are probably more likely to turn to informal channels for guidance. They might turn to a parent or a grandparent or an adult sibling who has already walked that path. And that's all fine, well, and good. But what we've seen over the past couple of years is that we've declined turning to family members. We've turned to other informal guides like social media, like AI. And the problem is people get only snippets. They get only headlines, which unfortunately can cause some misunderstandings of how those things play out. So to your point, if you have an individual 529, the parent can retain control. If it's a custodial account, maybe in the kid's name, then we might be boxed in a little bit. But to come up with a cohesive, holistic strategy, that's what advisors always try to do day in, day out.
All right. That was Andy Esser, financial advisor with Edward Jones, who taught me more about 529 plans in 10 minutes than I learned in 30 years. We're going to come back and talk about what a judge has done with Trump's anti-weaponization fund. Interesting finding. We'll be right back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, one person has died and 4 others are being treated for smoke inhalation after fire at a home in Ogden this morning.
They were able to find that victim relatively quickly. And got him outside of the house, but unfortunately, due to the extreme conditions of the home and the fire, the victim succumbed to their injuries.
Ogden Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Hess says the home is likely a total loss. They don't yet know the cause of the fire. The Bird's Eye Fire in Spanish Fork Canyon in Utah County has burned 66 acres, but is expected to be at full containment after firefighters work into the night. Utah Fire Info says the fire is believed to be human-caused, but the exact cause has not yet been determined. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A federal judge has temporarily blocked President Trump's administration from paying any claims through a nearly $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. The fund was created through a settlement with the IRS after President Trump sued over his tax files being leaked. The president wants the money to go to people who feel they were targeted unjustly by the Department of Justice under the Biden administration. A June 12th court hearing has been set to review the case. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 387 points. We're at 51,056. Coming up, we could see some rain this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included, no strings, no commitments. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account taxes and fees extra after 12 months. Regular rates apply to mobile. Select Xfinity. Internet required speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. $50 a month for 5 years. No commitments. Go to Xfinity.com.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet?
Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Hyundai gives you America's best warranty on every new vehicle. It includes a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, plus 24/7 roadside assistance. That's peace of mind from Hyundai. And these days, that's priceless.
Now, get the Hyundai Tucson for 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days. Visit your local Hyundai dealer. Offers end June 1st. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Improve cash flow with a home equity line of credit. And here's Cormac Bone.
The crash that we had on I-15 in Utah County has cleared off the road, so it's once again a problem-free drive all across the Wasatch Front on all our major freeways. Just normal slowdowns to expect. A couple of scattered delays both directions on the 201 freeway in Magna from 8400 west to 7200 west. And northbound Mountain View corridor in West Valley seeing some pretty heavy congestion at 3500 south, but not too long stretching. And of course, the construction delays in Lehigh eastbound on 2100 north and Pioneer Crossing between Redwood Road and I-15. UDOT construction alert. Expect I-80 to be reduced to one lane near the mouth of Parley's Canyon and between Mountain Dell Reservoir and Lambs Canyon every night this summer for paving. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today we'll get up to 78 degrees. A few more clouds later today with a chance of rain tonight. Good chance of rain tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's high only 70 degrees, and that's where we are right now. Fair skies and 70 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
This story is related to the one that we just did on 529 education accounts, but the Trump accounts for kids, they will officially begin receiving $1,000 payments from the federal government on July 4th.
Yeah, so the Treasury Department actually finally launched their Trump account app, which people can go to at just any app store. And once you're on the app, it doesn't cost any money. You just apply, and you can get $1,000 credit towards your kid's future and put in this what they call a Trump account. 4 million people applied almost immediately, according to the Internal Revenue Service.
That's a lot of people. That's 4 million times 1,000, right? That's a lot of people who have already said, look, we want to take advantage of this. And so this is, if you remember, children born between January 1st of last year, so basically the entire time of Trump's presidency, but January 1st of 2025 and December 31st of 2028, they're eligible for this account and they'll receive that one-time credit. So I've got a couple of grandkids that absolutely are eligible for this. And then parents, friends, and private organizations can contribute up to $5,000 a year until the child turns 18.
You wonder if that is going to be treated, and I'm not giving any tax advice, like the 529 plan. Because it looks like a similar type of thing.
It's very similar, and we've talked about this. But for people who are not having babies in that age frame, but they're still minors, you can still open accounts. They're just not going to get that $1,000. But you can always open those accounts, and then you money can go in there. So basically, it's a savings account for the kid. And if I remember, it's like the bonds. I don't know if this was ever a thing for you, but my grandparents,
savings bonds.
Yes, they would give you savings bonds because they mature over a really long period of time. This matures over a long period of time, and I think I remember seeing some of the early stories about it is like if the kids can wait until they're 30, they can use it for a down payment on a house, and there will be a significant chunk of money in there.
Right, and then
or could be, I guess,
you
potentially.
You get the money now, at one-time credit of $1,000, then you can't access it until you're 18. But if parents contribute and other things, it could be worth a lot of money.
They're treated like a traditional IRA. So another way for parents to save money for their kids, right? And Utah Representative Blake Moore, he's even talked to us about this on the show. He had an early hand in the project, and he is excited about this. And I was telling you during the break that we have our son who works for Google. He's our smartest financial whiz in the family. And he said that's one of his recommendations for all of his siblings. Get your kids on these Trump accounts.
Yeah, it seems like it's free money. So yeah, it's for children born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028. To be eligible, the child must be a U.S. citizen with a Social Security number provided by at least one of their parents, and it must be considered work eligible in order for the account to be approved. So yeah, it seems like it would make no sense to not jump in on it.
And so this is also a second story that we wanted to talk about. We've teased it already a little bit, but this is a federal judge this morning told the Trump administration, nope, you cannot give money out of this anti-weaponization fund. In fact, you can't even start it.
For now. So what happened was this, and you're exactly right, Holly. There was a suit filed against the Department of Justice, just as you might expect. This was in the Eastern District of Virginia, and to stop this $1.776 billion fund from distributing money, the judge went one step further, like you just mentioned, and said you can't even set it up. You can't even get it started yet. But it's an injunction. The judge said, time out. We're not doing this. We're not going to have any funds going into the account because who knows what's going to happen to them. So they and it's a very expedited proceeding here because he's given each side very quick turnaround to get things filed. But for the time being, there's been a stay on this fund, and it's happened in the Eastern District of Virginia. It happened today. Of course, they're 2 hours ahead of us, but this is another sort of hot off the press order.
Yeah. So I have questions for you when you're holding the judge's order in your hand. So this is a temporary injunction. Why is this temporary?
Because it would have gone into place, and the judge is saying, look, we don't even know if this is legal. We're not going to even let you set this up yet. Maybe it is. Maybe we'll go through the machinations and we'll decide that this was legal and it was appropriate and it didn't need congressional approval. But why even set it up and start distributing money until we can figure out the nuances and the legality of it? So he's just said, we're not even going to get this fund going. We're not going to fund it. We're not going to start putting money out or accepting applications, although some people have already applied. Just time out. Because, I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot. Is this even legal? Let alone the sort of
right, because there was no oversight.
Right.
It wasn't funded. It wasn't appropriated by Congress. I mean, so it sounds like temporarily stopping any forward momentum on this potential account or this fund, but there's a legal process that is playing out. Am I understanding that correctly?
Exactly. So what the judge's order, and it's a long order, but I'll just read you one sentence. I think it explains it really well. He says that the Department of Justice is enjoined, in other words, stopped from taking any further action to create or operate the anti-weaponization funds, which includes transferring money out to the fund or considering any claims submitted to the fund or dispersing any money out of any fund that has been created.
Right. So even though there's claims that have been made, and and there are people who are saying they're going to make claims. I know the MyPillow guy, $400 million.
Right.
And the Proud Boys guy, $5 million he thinks he's owed, right? There's, in fact, the very first person to make a claim was over $2 million.
Right. Yeah.
So you're making a claim against a fund that doesn't even exist.
Right. Yeah. Well, people jumped in thinking there's only 1.8 billion. That's going to go quick. True. But you know what I mean.
In Washington, it goes quick.
I think people are like lining up.
Yeah.
But what that judge did another thing I think that makes a lot of sense, and I don't know who this judge is, Leonique Brinkema, U.S. District Judge for the District of Virginia, ordered that the Department of Justice get their opposition to this motion filed by Friday, June 5th. That's a very short turnaround. That the plaintiffs file their reply by Wednesday, June 10th. In other words, he's given everybody 5 days.
Wow.
And they're going to have a hearing on the motion on Friday, June 12th.
Wow, that's in 2 weeks.
Moving very, very quickly. So maybe even 2 weeks from today, we might have an update on all this, or at least there will be a court hearing to address this. But the judge is saying there are so many concerns about this. There's so many complaints about how it was set up. Let's just do this the right way, and let's have a briefing schedule instead of starting to collect and disperse money yet.
One of the things about this fund is it'll be run by, well, if it were to move forward, I guess we don't know yet, there will be 5 commissioners selected by the Attorney General, right, which is the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, which, I mean, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah.
So he is. He told CNN that he had a, quote, bunch of people who applied to sit on the commission, but he hadn't made decisions. Now the judge is like, just hold on, hold your horses, hold on.
And the judge is holding everything. I mean, the
that's
creation,
what I mean, everything.
Implementation, disbursement. I mean, which I think you kind of have to do it in something like this, because let's say you send the first $2 million out and decide, this was all illegal, then what do you do about that?
Pull it back.
Yeah, right.
That seems unlikely.
Hope that the person doesn't spend any of it. Well, I think that's promising news, whatever we choose to do with that. But when we come back on Inside Sources, you better start slapping. New research says that mosquitoes are learning to like the taste of DEET. You got to be kidding me, which is a commonly found in bug repellents. What should you know to keep mosquitoes at bay instead? Text us your thoughts at 57500. We'll talk about what you can do this summer when we come back.
But before we go to break, I just want to remind you one more time about KSL News Radio's Give-a-thon next Thursday. So you can donate to help kids at Primary Children's Hospital today by visiting kslkids.com or text the word SMILE to 57500. And in fact, you can be a smile maker for as little as $15 a month. Wouldn't that be a special thing? Our thanks to J&J Garden Center for being our Smile Maker sponsor.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Movie Show broadcasting live today from Advanced Window Products in South Salt Lake. And, speaking as somebody who's had his windows replaced by the team at Advanced Windows, they take great care of you. They do a great job. And here's the best part. Their windows are amazing.
Amazing.
I mean, how much we've saved on utility bills, Scott has already helped us to pay for the windows. Now, we're still paying for the windows, but it helps us make that bill go down faster and faster. We got a tax rebate on it. All of these things because you guys use the high-efficiency windows that builders just don't put in the home because they're like, let's put the money into the kitchen instead of the window. It's glass. Right. They don't know the difference.
Yep, that's exactly right. We see a lot of contractor grade, builder grade windows. Just like you said, people don't go into the house and think, oh, look at those beautiful windows. No, they're looking at the floors or the kitchen. But we love to hear that from you, that you feel you got that value and you're seeing that value every day. You're saving money, on your energy bill because you have 2 giant openings in your house, the windows and the roof. We are losing, and most people don't think about those windows, but that is where your largest efficiencies are, through your windows. And we want to provide you, the customers, with the best value, the best window, and we do make the best vinyl window, highest quality window. You will get the best value through Advanced Window Products.
And you guys have a deal. Now, this is the thing. You always do a cool deal for the movie show when we come. What is the deal today? Because it sounds like you guys we're done with May. Summer's about to start. What have you got?
It is going to start heating up here, and we know that we want to provide your home with the greatest efficiency possible. So we are going to give you, this is a huge offer, $3,000 off today, 10 or more windows. So
okay, now that is an amazing deal.
That is an amazing deal.
The summer upgrade sale.
We are going to bump this up, and I'm probably going to get in trouble because the bosses are not here.
Hey,
They're
you know what?
town.
They should be here.
Okay, they should. However, while they're out of town, let's have a little fun. We're going to give you free installation. That is up to $150 per window. So if you get 10 windows, that's another $1,500 savings. 20 windows, $3,000.
$3,000 off already.
That's right.
And how do they get this free labor?
you have to just call and mention the movie show, or just say you heard it on KSL today.
And you got to do it during the movie show.
You got to do it during the movie show. Let me give you that number. 801-850-9100. 801-850-9100. That's $3,000 off, plus free installation. But you got to call today.
During the movie show.
That's right.
All right. Wow.
It's awesome.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. Dee and I had the chance at Hale Center Theater to see the opening night of not only My Fair Lady, but Harmony. 2 great presentations right now on 2 amazing stages. I want to talk about My Fair Lady first. I've had the chance to enjoy My Fair Lady, the West End in London and New York on Broadway, and of course the iconic movie. But I have to tell you, I don't think I have ever enjoyed My Fair Lady more than watching it on the stage at Hale Center Theater. Spectacular staging, gifted performances, great music, the voices incredible, and the costuming. You're going to love My Fair Lady. It's on now at Hale Center Theater. Then there's Harmony, the story of a 6-man German choral comedy group who gained great fame in the late 20s and early 30s, only to be undone by the Nazis. This is a powerful performance. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now. Harmony and My Fair Lady at Hale Center Theater, hct.org for your tickets.
Any Hour Services can help unclog any drain in your house. Whether you have a backup, a clog, or a slow drain you want fixed, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
The new Inside Sources.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Apparently, what doesn't kill mosquitoes might actually make them stronger.
I saw the story this morning and I'm like, no, this cannot be true. Mosquitoes are learning to like DEET.
Yeah, it's a common ingredient in bug repellent, and apparently people are just not using enough of it. We actually want you to chime in. If DEET doesn't work for you, what do you use to keep mosquitoes away besides a big fly swatter or slapping your arm every 30 seconds? Text us at 57500 and let us know. But this was interesting because what they found was because so many people are using repellents that has DEET in it, that mosquitoes associate that now with going to get a little blood.
It was actually a study that people did, and they used Pavlovian conditioning. So do you remember Pavlov and his dogs?
Yes.
He could teach them to salivate by the sound of a bell because he would ring the bell and then give them food, right? And so they would associate that. Well, now we have Pavlov's mosquitoes. Apparently, they can learn to like the smell of DEET and associate it with eating, because if it's not on strong enough, then they will associate that with the food source, which is your blood, right? And it's like, oh, if I smell that, that means food.
That means there's food, and then people aren't using enough of it, so it's not
repelling
them.
So
it's actually attracting them.
It's so gross. So first of all, who even thought of this study? Second of all, who volunteers for this study? Not me. But it's interesting, right? So DEET was supposed to smell bad to mosquitoes, or it masks the smell of a person. So I will just say this. I have some kids, I am positive there's a different composition to their blood because insects and mosquitoes like them better than some of the others of us. I feel bad for them. But it is really interesting because here's what they say. People assumed that the insects couldn't do anything to fight this, body chemistry. But this is what they say. We are showing that in the mosquito's brain, it can rewrite the response based on that experience. The insect can learn as much as this chemical response, and they can learn to overcome it and say, oh, actually, I do like this smell.
I'm one of those people that attracts them. I mean, like
really?
My wife and I will go to an event, and I'll come home with 30 mosquito bites and she'll have one.
Yeah.
I mean, just this weekend. And I got into those no-see-ums or something. We were down in central Utah, and I've never experienced it before, but I probably got maybe 30 or 40 bites. She had
terrible.
one, and they kind of got worse over a day. Usually mosquito bite is really bad for like the first 6 hours, and it kind of goes away. But these came on worse and worse, and I didn't put anything on it because I wasn't thinking about it.
So we I almost lost my leg because of a mosquito bite. When I was younger, like a lot younger, I was 8 years old, I think, I got a mosquito bite, and I'm not sure if it was me scratching it or the mosquito actually carried it, but I ended up with a staph infection. It ended up like with a gigantic abscess on my leg. I'm young. I don't know all these things, right? I was 8 years old, but the abscess was as big as an adult fist, and they had to drain it. I still have scars from the drain. My mom told me years later that I almost lost my leg because of it. They thought they might have to amputate if it went through because of a staph.
Terrible. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, oh, mosquitoes. I don't like mosquitoes, right? And I really don't. But I haven't gotten malaria. I've traveled to places where we sleep under mosquito netting, but I haven't ever thought that if I used insect repellent, it wasn't going to work. In fact, they might come snack more.
You know what? My most effective insect repellent for me is wearing thick clothing.
Yeah.
And really, even in the hot summer, just wear
Yeah.
long sleeves or whatever.
Yeah.
Just cover up as much skin as you can, because with me, I guess I just have some weird smell that attracts mosquitoes. But the insect repellent is good unless I'm just putting it back on every hour or two.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't do much.
That's part of it. So let me tell you more about this study that might gross you out. So the mosquitoes in the study, they had fabric mesh with a bag of blood just outside of reach.
Yum,
I'm reading from a
yum.
Deseret News article, by the way. And then the researchers allowed the insects out, and they could go feed on the blood, and they were introduced to the smell of DEET. And after they did that, they presented the mosquitoes only with the smell of DEET, and more than 60% tried to eat. It's like they had associated immediately with that smell. And then the researchers presented the mosquitoes with two choices. One human hand, again, I'm not volunteering, one human hand coated with DEET and one without. The untrained bugs chose the untreated hand, but the mosquitoes who they did that little training with, they chose the hand covered with it.
So it actually became attracting.
It became attractive to them. They immediately associated it with food. Okay, so we did ask on our Facebook post earlier this morning, what can you do if DEET's not going to work for you? What can you do? And
This is going to be interesting.
Kat says, and I'm sure this is not a serious response, but we found that mosquitoes hate the taste of tequila, so if you're drunk, you're good. Okay.
Don't do that.
Richard says supposedly catnip works as well or better than DEET. And I know that there are some natural plants, citronella, right? But you have lemon balm. We grow that. John says we need more dragonflies. I see them eating mosquitoes at my house. Sean says eat plenty of garlic. It actually works. Mosquitoes are also literally vampires. So we know garlic repels vampires.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Erica says last year DEET didn't keep the mosquitoes away, but this year she has found success with using peppermint oil as a deterrent.
So if your guests are coming over and they're putting on an oil, and you can say, well, you can either put on the garlic oil or the peppermint oil.
I'm going to put peppermint.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're having a barbecue.
Yeah. Rebecca says she lived in Lehigh where they irrigated their fields. The county always sprayed for them, but they had lots. And she finds because of the biodiversity where she lives now, it's swampy. They have amphibians, frogs, and dragonflies, and they eat the mosquitoes. So there's one. Lavender or lemongrass. Liz says long sleeves. And Jess says, seriously, nothing works for me. I'm the buffet.
That's kind of how I am. I'm with Jeff, and it's unfortunate because at my age, I just get tired of having mosquito bites. They keep you up all night. I end up carrying Benadryl type substance with me all the time because I just put it on the bite as soon as I get it, just to alleviate the pain.
We have some great texters here, actually. So we have Ben who says he's a mosquito abatement tech. And mosquitoes do prefer O-type blood the most and type A the least. So maybe I've got some O positive or negative kids. Probably I'm actually O positive myself, but they don't like me as well as my kids. And then Jeff says to you, you need to shower more frequently, Greg.
Thanks, Jeff.
So look, I mean, when I saw this story, it's like, what? Mosquitoes can learn to like DEET?
Yeah.
No. One of the things they do recommend, though, is that if you're going to use DEET, then you have to use it more often, right? Don't panic. It says instead of applying a lot at once, I'll reapply regularly so that it's always active and providing continuous protection.
Yeah, and for me, whatever I put on, as soon as I jump in the water, it's gone anyway. Whether I'm at a lake or a swimming pool or whatever.
Yeah.
It just washes right off.
Yeah. Mosquitoes are one of the things we always joke about, like if Noah had to put 2 of everything on the ark, why did he take mosquitoes? They seem unnecessary. Like they carry disease.
I was going to say they must do something.
What is the good thing that they do? I can think of nothing. Nothing.
And you feel sorry for the animals out. When you see animals who are suffering from mosquitoes, they're just
yeah, but isn't their skin so tough that it doesn't really matter?
I guess, but then they sort of focus on their ears or their lips or some sort of tender part of their body.
Yeah. So mosquitoes can learn to love DEET. Take precautions while you're outside. We do have another texter that says that his wife used to get dozens of bites, but she has used a mixture of water and vanilla concentrate, and that has really changed the game. And I'm saying that's going to smell great, right? Vanilla
water and vanilla concentrate. These are all ideas. You'd think that the scientific community would have had some information about these, but maybe they work. Garlic, peppermint oil. What was this?
I think they do. Yeah, vanilla, but lemon based, so lemon balm and citronella. We know that those are insect repellents as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the most satisfying is if you can get them in the bug zapper. Because I don't love insects.
Yeah,
I don't love mosquitoes.
I'm a mosquito attractor. So
yes. Okay. Well, coming up on Inside Sources, there's something really special happening here in Utah this weekend to help promote hope and prevent suicide. We're going to have more on the 1 Million Hugs for Hope Gala next.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, Salt Lake City is already collecting sales tax for the upcoming entertainment district in downtown.
The district will span 3 walkable blocks from the Delta Center to City Creek and will feature outdoor plazas, restaurants, retail spaces, a new residential tower, and a hotel. To help fund the project, Salt Lake City raised sales tax by 0.5% 18 months ago, and the Desert News reports the city has now collected $66 million. The Smith Entertainment Group is working with the city on the project and has pledged $3 billion. The city says they will then reimburse the SEG nearly $1 billion collected with the sales tax over the course of 30 years. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Dozens of local and international street performers will be in downtown Salt Lake this weekend for Busker Fest, and the city is expecting big crowds. But there is a chance this could be the event's last year. Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall recommended several program cuts to reduce a proposed property tax increase in her 2027 budget, and one cut would get rid of the $125,000 set aside for Busker Fest. No final decisions on the cuts have been made yet. Our top national story this hour, former Attorney General Pam Bondi is back on Capitol Hill this morning, testifying behind closed doors to the House Oversight Committee on her role in releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. Committee Chairman James Comer spoke to reporters before the hearing got underway.
It's not just this administration. It goes back several administrations. So we're going to do everything in our ability to try to get justice for the victims.
Bondi has faced intense criticism from survivors of Epstein for her handling of the files. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 342. We're over 51,011. Coming up, get ready for some Saturday morning rain. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
It's the movie show broadcasting live today from Advanced Window Products. Andy Farnsworth and Val Cameron, and we are blown away, Scott, by the deal you just laid on us in the last break. $3,000 off 10 windows or more. And free labor if they call and set up that appointment during the movie show.
That's right.
This is nuts. You've never done a deal like this.
We have never done this. Our biggest sale of the year by far, $150 value per window. So just add that up. You have 10 windows. That's an extra $1,500 off.
I had 20 windows. That would have been a really nice deal.
That's $3,000 off on top.
Well, the number is 801-850-9100. You want to keep that because you want to get in on the appointment list early because those things are going to go quick today with a deal like this, Scott.
Yep, I want to remind the listeners of who Advanced Windows is and who we are. We're a local window and door company. We sell direct to the public, so there's no middleman markups, and we make these windows right here in Salt Lake City. We're a family-owned business, over 40 years. And so we come in, we customize these windows for your home. You're not going to pay a exuberant amount of money because these are custom windows. We make the highest quality vinyl replacement window you can buy, and the value is there. And so if you're feeling drafts or condensation, or right now you're putting your hand up against that window pane, you're feeling that heat on the back of your hand, it's probably a good time to have us come out and give you that free estimate.
Yeah, what you don't realize is all the heat that your air conditioner is trying to fix is still coming in through your windows even when they're closed.
That's right. We've talked to customers this week where they put in a new AC or HVAC system, and it is just running and running and running, and that's because you're losing energy through those windows, unfortunately. So let us come out, give you that free estimate. It only takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Doesn't cost you a thing. And then if you do decide, we're going to give you that $3,000 off plus free installation, and all you have to do is just call us today.
And that's because we're here, we're special. You're not telling anyone about this except for our listeners today, because you may get in trouble for this one.
Exactly. The bosses are going to get upset. But
Somebody's
we're
going to
do
walk
it anyway.
in and not have listened to the movie show.
Yeah.
And then been like, I want this deal. I want to get some windows. And they're like, okay. But then they didn't say the magic words, KSL movie show.
Exactly.
So
only for
this
your
is
listeners.
Exclusive for you guys.
Let's keep it quiet.
801-850-9100, $3,000 off 10 windows or more, and free labor on each window. But you got to call during the movie show.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. And back over to you, Cormac.
No major accidents or delays on all our freeways across the Wasatch Front, but we do have some city street crashes causing some grief. The first is on 5600 West near West Valley City. And there's a crash on the northbound side of 5600 West, causing some pretty heavy delays, really both directions, though, because it is an oversized vehicle from between 4700 South and 5400 South. Otherwise, normal delays to expect. Northbound Mountain View corridor, a little heavier now in West Valley, approaching 3500 South. And we do have some light delays northbound on Legacy Highway due to some construction approaching 500 South in Woods Cross. If your roof needs repair or replacement, do it now during S&S Roofing's huge spring sale. Flexible financing options available. Get the best value on the highest quality roofing job. Get a quote today at snsroofingutah.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We should get up to 78 degrees today, but then a cold front moves in, which brings rain Saturday morning and a high of just 70 degrees. But the rain moves out Saturday afternoon, and we start to warm up Sunday. We'll be back close to 90 midweek next week. Right now, it's 72 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
This weekend, Utahns from all walks of life will come together in an effort to support those who are struggling with their own mental health.
It's called the 1 Million Hugs for Hope Gala, and it's being put on by the Promise to Live group.
We're going to speak with the group's founder about this in just a few minutes, but first...
It's the KSL Give-a-thon. Be a smile maker for the kids at Primary Children's Hospital.
We want to talk about KSL's annual Give-a-thon, which runs all day next Thursday, June 4th.
And ahead of that special day, we're getting some insights into the kids who have found support and healing through the dedicated medical professionals at Primary Children's Hospital. 12-year-old Max Vole and his mom, Jeannie, have been through a lot together, but against all odds, Max's journey has taken him to the stage.
It started when I was born and I was diagnosed with bilateral cleft lip and palate and it had to be repaired.
Yeah, I was 28 weeks pregnant when we found out that Max would be born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate. I'll be honest, it was terrifying to have this totally new and unknown circumstance thrown in our lap. And I went in when I was pregnant to meet with the plastic surgery team there and get a treatment plan and figure out what Max's journey would look like.
It's always very welcoming, and just knowing that I have people there that are gonna help me and be with me like every step of the way, people I can trust to operate on me. And my craniofacial orthodontist saw in casting call on the Craniofacial Association email or website. She told us about it, and I'm like, yes, let's do it. Thanks to Primary Children's, I got to have the best experience of my life.
I was nervous that it would hit too close to home. It is the life that Max has lived in many ways, and I didn't want to bring up any pain that has been associated with this journey. But
I said, but it's something that teaches choosing kind and spreading the message of kindness and hope and all of that good stuff. And she said, okay. So I sang the song, sent in the video, and I got an in-person call back in New York for 3 days.
The lyrics are, go ahead, laugh and point your fingers, call me every awful name you can, take out all your phones and snap a picture, I love me exactly as I am. And to stand there and listen to him sing those words, I hope that he keeps that with him forever.
Max says performing was the best experience of his life, and he's back home now planning for future surgeries at Primary Children's Hospital.
And to help kids like Max, you can donate now by visiting kslkids.com or texting the word SMILE to 57500, brought to you by J&J Garden Center and the Utah Hyundai dealers.
Okay, let's go back to our other story and the efforts to promote hope and prevent suicide.
We're joined in studio by the founder of Promise to Live, a group dedicated to this cause.
And we have Brandy Vega. And look, you have this 1 million hugs for hope that's happening, I think, Saturday.
Yep, it's this Saturday,
tomorrow.
May 30th. Yeah, tomorrow. It's tomorrow, everybody.
Right up.
Lucky for you, we still have a couple of seats left. We may even have a table if somebody's looking to come. But I'm so excited about this because it's our big opportunity to come together in person for a cause that matters, which is mental health and suicide prevention. And now more than ever, I yesterday was speaking at a funeral of a 16-year-old girl in American Fork that took her life.
I saw her obituary, actually, and I was appreciative of her parents being willing to put that in there, but I was struck by their comment that she made a permanent decision for a temporary rough patch.
Yeah, and this is unfortunately what we find a lot is people just in a moment of panic or fear or frustration, they make this decision. And it's so heartbreaking because she was incredible. I mean, this girl was amazing. Yeah. And there's so many. And yesterday I had a friend who her best friend's husband just took his life. Like we're still seeing it every day, but we're making strides, we're making headway. And we're talking about our Pocket Hug program where, this is our Million Hugs for Hope, and we're wanting everyone to learn how to do it, how we do it, and the difference it makes. Because yesterday I was able to get 750 of those coins with resources and hope and love out to these mainly kids and have them promise to reach out for help. And that's so critical.
Yeah, those Pocket Hugs, if you can remind our listeners, you've given them to us before, but just remind us what they are.
So a Promise to Live Pocket Hug, it's a coin, kind of like a challenge coin. I served in the military, worked in law enforcement. And it says on there, Promise to Live with our website so people know where to go for resources. But on the back, it has a special message that says, when times are tough and you don't know what to do, here's a hug from me to you. Call or text 988 if you're struggling. And the reason we ask everybody to make that promise is people are 60% more likely to keep a promise. We have to shift from awareness to action and accountability. That's step one, Promise to Live. Promise that if you find yourself in a dark place, you'll reach out for help. Friend, family, resource, 988, Live On, Safe UT, lots of great programs, but people need to know where to find them. And that's step two of what we do. We connect people to trusted tools and resources on our site, 24/7, free of charge for most. And we want them to be able to find that. And then we build our community. And this is our gala event this Saturday where we're building that community. And we invite people to come and see and be a part of it.
Yeah, I think we all get touched by this far too often, Brandy. And I think maybe I even mentioned it to you last time you were here, but I recently had a friend, very close friend and client, who took his life. And we're still dealing with it, his widow and I, trying to help figure out what to do with. He left a lot of baggage behind. But anyway, I digress a little bit. Tell our listeners about the gala, where it is, when it is, and how they can participate if they want.
Here's the fun part. It's doors open at 5:30 at the show barn at Thanksgiving Point. You can go to our website, promise2live.org to get information. But doors will open at 5:30, and we've got the 501 group, which does the Star Wars full characters.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to have some really cool supercars. We're going to have a car show out front. You can check out the cars on your way in. You can interact and get cool pictures with our Star Wars characters. Check in, and then we have an incredible silent auction with retreats and golf packages and crumble cookies and just so many grateful people who've donated for us. And then dinner starts at 6:30. We have a very good steak dinner from Thanksgiving Point. And then the show's at 7. We have The King Will Come performing. We have Sam Latui and Oscar Fakua coming up. We have Mary Kraft speaking, Jeff Griffin speaking, Cos Green's our MC. Like, just a great, great night. And the main thing is just teaching people how to have the conversations. Teaching them how to get the coins. We want everyone there to walk away with 100 coins, which is not just 100 coins. It's 100 opportunities to touch a life and save a life.
Yeah.
And so we want to show the impact of that, how every single one of us can do it. And it's not scary and it's not hard. And it could literally save a life. We know.
Tomorrow night at Thanksgiving Point, it looks like it starts at 6 p.m.
Yep, doors open at 5:30. The official dinner and show starts around 6:30.
All right. Well, we cut you off a little bit short today, but thanks for joining us again. And good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you so much.
It'll be fun. Next up on Inside Sources, we're going to get our own little preview of today's KSL movie show, which is broadcasting from Advanced Window Products. The movie question of the week: what's the best modern-day World War II movie? This would be movies made after 1980. Text us at 57500. We'll be right back.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio, or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
The movie show broadcasting live from Advanced Window Products. We're at their location in South Salt Lake today, and we're actually near their showroom, which has some amazing stuff on display. And if you've heard us talking about Advanced Window Products on the movie show before, or you've heard me talk about the great experience that me and my family had getting our windows replaced, you ought to come see for yourself, because if you didn't see them at the home show earlier this year, I'm convinced that there is one thing that will sell them just like it did me, and that is when you feel the difference with just a heat lamp. You guys have a test that shows what the difference is between a high-efficiency window and a regular window, and when I saw that with my own eyes, I was like, you got me. And then I did it, and now I can actually talk about how the temperature in my house is the same on different levels.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was possible.
Well, and I remember as you were getting your windows replaced, you talked about how hot your master bedroom was.
Mm-hmm.
It was the top story in your house, and just you'd be roasting in there.
Well, we had 3 windows facing south and 1 facing west. In Utah, that's basically an oven.
That's the oven. And how many homeowners are out there with these exact same feelings that you had, where it's just all constantly warm in your master bedroom? You hate being in there. It feels like the air conditioning's constantly running. We can fix that for you. And if you call today, you're going to get Ken on the other line. He can come out to your house, and I know you saw in the showroom that the heat lamp display. Ken can bring that to your home.
Oh, even better.
And he can show it to you. He can show you your current windows and what the heat feels like coming through current windows, and then he can show you what it feels like with the glass that we provide and with our windows, and it is a game changer for you as a homeowner.
It really is. And then to top it off, now you're doing your summer upgrade sale.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but Scott threw in an extra deal.
Yeah.
You had $3,000 off 10 windows. Because you weren't here, we talked him into throwing in free labor on each window.
That's what happens when I'm not here, I guess. Yeah, so look, that's what we're going to do. So $3,000 off the purchase of 10 or more windows. Plus, when you call today, we're going to give you free installation. So that's $150 per window. So you do the math. You got 10 windows in your home. It's another $1,500. 20 windows. That's another $3,000.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked yet about the lifetime guarantee that you have on the windows. We're going to get into all that during the movie show. But here's the thing. You got to get on this appointment list before everybody else so that you can take advantage of the deal. And you got to call during the movie show to get the free labor and the $3,000 off 10 windows or more. What's the number?
The number to call is 801-850-9100. Again, 801-850-9100.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort.
Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now it's the final days of our Everything's on Sale event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses. Our Memorial Day event ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on oil?
We've got many markdowns on oil.
How about on that new STP Any Mileage?
You'll save $5 when you buy 5 quarts of STP Any Mileage with an oil filter and get up to 5,000 miles of protection.
Heck of a markdown for quite a lot of miles.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Inside Sources.
You know, war movies can be a really hard genre to get right because on the one hand, you want to make sure that it's accurate, but on the other hand, you don't want it to be too depressing and gory, which is what war actually is.
Yeah, and this week, the KSL Movie Show is reviewing the movie Pressure. We're joined now by Andy Farnsworth and Val Cameron, who are broadcasting live from Advanced Window Products in South Salt Lake. Hey, tell us about this big movie of the week.
Well, it's Pressure, and it's a World War II movie starring Brendan Fraser. He plays General Eisenhower, and it's the lead-up to D-Day in 1944. And I can't think of a movie, especially a war movie, where the main plot point, it's not just weather, but a forecast of the weather is the central point in a movie that is surprisingly tense for something that I already knew the outcome of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You already know what happens at D-Day. I'm sorry, I cut you off there, Val, but I mean, how did they play that out?
Like, you had 2 meteorologists and they were actually going head to head, and one of them was just like, it's going to be great, it's going to be fantastic, and then we had somebody come in that was like, no, it's not. So it was this back and forth, kind of like we have on the show here, back and forth on what's going. We do know what's going to happen, but did we know if it was delayed or if they went forth with the regular day? So it's things that I didn't know, and I've watched, I think, every World War II movie ever made.
And this one, there's a tension to it, and interestingly enough, because you hear that, and in fact, even when you watch the movie, Chris Messina plays the U.S. meteorologist, and Andrew Scott plays the British meteorologist, and Chris Messina's character is not just saying what the general wants to hear, but there's certainly pressure to do that because 100,000 troops are waiting.
There's pressure
yes,
to do that?
There's a lot of pressure in this movie.
I got it.
That's actually what's so cool about it because, of course, there's atmospheric pressure, and that might be what you're thinking of when you know it's about a meteorology and how it relates to D-Day. But there was pressure on Eisenhower after Operation Tiger got messed up. There's pressure on the British who just want to get on land and start taking land back from the Germans. And if you miss this window, maybe the next chance is June 18th, and there's no way we can catch them by surprise 2 weeks from now. We got now or nothing.
It's a lot of young men's lives on the line on whether you're going to make the right decision, and that is the biggest pressure of all, I think.
And that's what makes it so interesting, even though we know the outcome.
Let me ask you this question. How is Brendan Fraser as Eisenhower? Because in my head, the two don't necessarily go together.
I mean, I thought he played him fine. I didn't know General Eisenhower personally, but
I
he
don't
seems like
either,
he's slightly
but
larger
the way
of
he
stature
looks.
than Eisenhower. It would have been in real life, but again, when you're doing movies and you're doing things in the past, you can cast somebody to give impressions. And Eisenhower has become a larger-than-life general. He was the command. They called him the supreme commander for Allied forces in Europe. Like, that's a big title. So making him bigger than a smaller guy. I think that works for dramatic purposes in a film.
Yeah, he definitely commanded the screen like Eisenhower would. My father went with me to see it, and he said, yes, the stature is a little bit off, but the personality was right on target because he had a little more advanced knowledge of Eisenhower than I did, my dad. So, and he loved it. So we both came out of it just loving it.
I'm going to give this a pretty high grade on the movie show. I'm going to tell you that. Because it was really moving, and it takes the time, first of all, to show you that there are people like Eisenhower that everybody remembers. But tell me the name without looking it up. Tell me the name of the British meteorologist, Val. We watched a movie about him.
I know,
What's
and I
his
don't
name?
even know.
Yeah, but yet his contribution was so critical. And as I was watching this is basically a prequel to Saving Private Ryan, by the way.
Yes.
This ends about exactly where Saving Private Ryan begins. So it's really, I love how movies start to stitch together. We'll talk about that on the movie show as well. But
let me ask Val a question. Did you get the sense that this is historically accurate movie?
I felt like what I know about this time period, it felt very historically accurate to me. Now, of course, anytime you get a movie that's based on real life, you're going to have things that are blown up for, a movie experience. But for me, I walked out of that movie, went home, and Googled to see how accurate this was. And for me, that's what a powerful movie does. You want to go learn more about the subject. And so for me, it gave me exactly what I needed for a movie that's based on real life.
So can we talk about then your movie question? The best,
of course.
The best
Because
modern day, which 1980 is not that modern, but...
Well, we had to figure where would we draw the line at. So we figured halfway between 80 years ago is 40 years ago, and that puts us around 1980. So that gives a chance for any early 80s movies, like if you wanted to pick like maybe The Final Countdown or something, even though it's highly fictionalized. But it does take place around World War II. But so we figured, what's the best modern day World War II movie? We were also excited because we thought, this might be one that Greg's already seen one of these movies before we give the question.
I actually have. We'll start with Holly. Here's hers, and you guys can probably figure this one out pretty quickly. Val's nodding.
I could have got more. I could have got more. I don't know if I just... I could have got more.
That John Williams score is
I have
goosebump
tingles.
inducing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I got tingles.
Yeah, me too. So that one's Schindler's List. And I will tell you, it was probably the first R-rated movie I ever saw, and it's one of the only ones I've ever seen. And I made my kids watch it too.
You know, I have to tell you that movie is exactly why I went to film school. I watched that movie and I learned more about that time period than I did in school by watching that film. So I'm like, that is what I want to do. Went to film school because of that film. So
Wow.
to me, that's got a big meaning.
Yeah, so
All right.
For me, it wasn't a movie, but Band of Brothers is something you have to watch. I mean, and if you want to learn a lot about World War II, it's a series. I don't know what you'd call it, but I thought it was incredible. But for my movie, I actually did see a movie, Andy. I wanted you to be happy with me today that dealt with World War II after 1980. This one should be easy to figure out, I hope.
I always dreamed about being a doctor, but didn't get much school. I can't stay here while all them go fight for me.
But you figure this war is just going to fit in?
All right, Val's got it.
It's Pearl Harbor, right?
No. I actually watched this movie last week.
Oh.
Because that's how good this movie is. And my daughter, who doesn't really watch movies with me, this is actually one of her favorite movies, Hacksaw Ridge.
It's intense. I mean, it just keeps going on and on, especially the scene when they're on the ridge. It was just, Holly thought this had to do with the.
Not me.
Or no.
That was
no,
our producer.
Our producer thought it was the Hacksaw Murders or something. I'm like, no, like a horror movie or something. Yeah.
No, I mean, even I know this story, right? And I can't remember the guy's name though, but he was a pacifist and would not carry a weapon, but he ended up becoming a real hero because he did go to war and he rescued a lot of people.
Well, I'm excited because you both picked movies that are in my top 5. Now I just have to fill in.
All right. Tell us what yours is then, Val.
Go ahead, Val.
Well, I told y'all when I first came on the show that Saving Private Ryan is my favorite, but if I had to throw another one in to finish off my top 5 would be Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I told Andy yesterday in studio that I really liked Dunkirk, but yeah.
Well, no, as soon as you finally figure out how the story is being told,
right,
it makes a little bit more sense. In fact, seeing that one on the IMAX, I remember going to the critic screening for that one because the way that
Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, Christopher Nolan shot that. It was like the camera was right up in everybody's faces. I remember feeling claustrophobic despite having like a 50-foot screen in front of me because of the way he shot that. But I actually like the other half of that story, the movie that tells the rest of what was going on around Dunkirk, which is called Darkest Hour, about Churchill, starring Gary Oldman. I just thought that was so good. And, you know, over the years, Churchill has gone in and out of general public's favor. Was he a good man? Did he save things? Was he just a jerk? And it was just like, this is the guy, you know. Did he do everything right? No. Was he a jerk sometimes? Yes. But did he not carry through in one of the most, in the darkest hour, as the title said? So that's one that I really like. And I'm going to cheat here a little bit. Captain America, the First Avenger.
I knew you were going to go there.
You get to see somebody punch out Hitler. You get to see somebody save POWs. And you get to, you know, and you get like what all of us, I feel like, imagine the best of America is in that character.
So then does Indiana Jones count as one of the best World War II movies ever made?
People.
We have got
Actually,
to
that was all
leave you
pre-World
guys.
War II.
Inside Sources is done for the day, but stay on KSL News Radio and you'll hear the movie show. We'll be back next week.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL